This is a story about a little boy, born poor, very poor, and raised by trouble. He felt the heavy sting of poverty.
Yet others saw my potential.
The boom is on as this small town welcomes the oil industry. It grows as the home of a major university. The good life comes to Lafayette, Louisiana. New homes, new schools, restaurants, shopping, and convention centers.
This is where I grew up, seeing the good life all around.
The good life for some. But for our little boy, things were different. His father could not write or speak English.
And my mother had an 8th grade education.
His parents struggled to make ends meet, to provide food for their family of 10 children.
But they taught us valuable lessons.
As he grew up, he didn't know he was poor. At first,
there came a time I saw my clothes were shabby, my home very small, and not nearly as nice as others.
He didn't invite friends over. He was ashamed of the small room he shared with 4 brothers.
I loved playing outside with my friends. We'd play for hours on end, and often we'd hide underneath this church in our neighborhood.
That church, just a few doors down from our little boy's home, had an interesting life of its own. As a gathering place for people of color, later to become known as the Good Hope Society. Then it became a jazz dance hall, and then a Catholic church, all serving those seeking refuge of one type or another.
I was small enough to run underneath that church building. My friends and I had lots of fun under there. We'd meet, plan, play. We called it our fort. There was something that felt safe about it.
That fort, the church, was Good Hope Hall, in an area of Lafayette known as Freetown.
I spent many hours playing beneath that building. It became a very special place to me.
The memory of that building never left him as his teen years entered, and every bad influence came to play.
My father moved us to another house, far away from that church. And in our new neighborhood, fighting was a way of life. I was angry my family couldn't afford much, so I often took matters into my own hands.
Then one day, his father, appalled at what his son had become, kicked him out of the family home, only 1 week after his 16th birthday. Now he was out on the streets. Now he was a boy at risk and was arrested time and time again.
I didn't see a future, but fate, or maybe faith, works in strange ways, even then. I was learning important lessons, laying a foundation of sorts.
The spirit to fight, the courage to lead, the will to succeed. For this young man and many young people at risk, these qualities are forged in adversity.
All it takes is for someone to see your potential.
3 people.
3 angels, you could call them mentors, stepped in to save my life. 3 people I'll never forget.
First, a police officer named Johnny Huval.
Hey, young man.
He'd preach from the front seat of his police cruiser.
I've been watching you.
As our now young man.
And you know, you can't get everything you want in life fighting. No.
Pretended not to listen in the back seat.
There's something much more powerful than strong fists. That's education. There's much more power in education.
And with those words came change. He applied to college.
But most of all, education is...
And got in the University of Southwestern Louisiana, where he met an English professor named Andrew Hurt.
Power! Education is not only powerful, it's exciting. It's invigorating. Education incites change.
And my third angel,
Son, I want to talk to you today.
a lawyer named Darrell D.
Understand
DeZormo.
what it is that I do. Yes, I am a personal injury lawyer, and I love what I do, because I can really make a difference in people's lives. And son, I see in you the potential to be that kind of lawyer.
With the voices of 3 mentors ringing in his mind, he applied himself and he excelled, earned high grades, and graduated.
Top of my class, and maybe more amazing, I was accepted into law school. Very proud of everything I'd accomplished.
Glenn Armentor, lawyer, founder of his own law firm.
And sweeper of floors, cleaner of toilets. I struggled at first. I didn't own a car, so I rode a bicycle to work and worked as the building janitor just to pay my rent. It was tough, but it gave me great respect for all hard-working people. I saw how my father was taken advantage of because he couldn't read, write, or speak English. And as a lawyer, I could make a difference. I just wanted to help people.
Strengthened by his calling and armed by his mission, he started winning. Case after case, our community took note. Other lawyers joined the firm, some of the finest in the country.
And one day I saw that building, that church, the one I'd played under so long ago, was for sale.
He took it as a sign and purchased the building to be the new location for his law firm.
My success had brought me back to good old Paul. I knew all along this is right where I needed to be.
Good Hope Hall, now providing yet another form of refuge for the hurt and disadvantaged.
I had come back to my roots. I had returned to Freetown.
The neighborhood, diverse, with many different races, ages, and economic situations.
I wanted to come back and help the neighborhood. I wanted to help at-risk kids who grew up the way I did.
Today, with a staff of over 40, they handle hundreds and thousands of cases at any given time.
We've helped more than 29,000 clients and families, lifting them from troubles, compensating them for injuries.
True success.
What is true success? I believe true success comes to those who work hard despite all the hardships they face. True success comes to someone who takes their future into their own hands and opens their eyes to sincere help and opportunity. My angels are gone and I can't pay them back, so I'm paying it forward. I am proud and humbled to help our young people at risk, real risk, whose lives can be turned around now and forever.
We're not asking for donations. We're asking for names. Do you know a young person at risk, impoverished, in a troubled family but with great potential? A young adult that simply needs a helping hand to start over. Help us today to find them and give them the chance they need.
At 15 years old, Mom decided that I shouldn't live with her anymore, that our relationship was getting strained and that I'd be better off living somewhere else. And that wasn't like the ideal thing at the time for me. I guess the feeling of rejection was the hardest thing for me, and it's made it hard to rebuild the relationship with her, feeling rejected, but I know in her heart she loves me, and I know that I love her. Just because she kicked me out doesn't mean that all that is voided. She's my mother, and the only mother I'm gonna have, and I'm thankful for her. The toughest thing for me these past 4 years has been learning to not let my past control me and control the decisions I make in life. Because I feel like if I focus on the past too much, I'm never gonna move forward. And that's been the hardest, definitely. Having the support of all my teachers and counselors and friends and some family has made it a lot easier to deal with some of the issues I've been dealing with. I have a lot of people on my side that care, and so I never really feel like alone. They're always there for me. I call them at 1 o'clock in the morning and they'll answer. I never really feel alone. Without them, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I heard about the Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward Scholarship of Excellence through my school counselor. Whenever I found out I won, I was so happy. I just kept telling Mr. Glenn Armentor, I was like, "Are you serious?" And I was crying. My goals in college show everybody that I'm serious and I want this more than anything. Like, I want to be successful and I want to either become a social worker or a counselor. That way I could help other kids that could be going through like similar situations, and I want them to know that they're not alone. They shouldn't feel alone. If I could tell Mr. Armentor how much this means to me, how much this means to everybody that's gotten it, and how much of a difference that he's making right now, whether or not he knows it, I would, because it's just unfathomable. My name is Samantha Watson, and I won the Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward Scholarship of Excellence.
We never really had a place called home. We couldn't come off of school and say, "Oh, we're going home, you know, we're going to watch TV or anything." My mom was single, so she was really hard raising 8 children, and she got kicked out of numerous places because, I mean, when you have 8 kids, you gotta put food on the table and you gotta work a job, and sometimes it get overwhelming, but we still manage it. My mom made us understand that before she died, because she kind of sat there, explained to us that she wasn't going to be here anymore to comfort us, but she knew that they would have certain people that would at least try to do better than what she could have done. The thing I was most afraid of is losing my siblings. I wish I could just have them like all together, you know, so we can just have the fun times that we had when we was young. I kind of live with it every day, but they still know that I still care for them and everything. And I'm here trying to make them proud, and I'm trying to just get them back together like how we once was. I heard about the Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward Scholarship by going to my grandma one weekend, and her daughter actually told me about the scholarship. Like a month later, my counselor for Upper Bound, she called me and she was like, "Dylan, you should definitely do this scholarship. I believe you can win it." And I get a phone call from Glenn. I did not know who it was. I was kind of like, "Who is this?" Glenn Armentor. And I nearly ran into the door, like screaming and hollering, saying that I won. I feel that Mr. Glenn Armentor is setting a great example. He is giving kids hope. He's giving kids something to wake up in the morning. They can say, "Oh, I'm getting a better education." Not a lot of kids can say that. One thing that I would tell my mother right now is I love her. She was here. She would tell me that she's so happy that I get to go to college, because that's all she really wanted me to do, is go to college. I think she'll probably start crying right now, because we're doing this interview and she's like, "Oh, my baby growing up." So I still miss her.
The university is very supportive of the Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward scholarship. It helps students who may not be able to come to college without it. It provides bright students who have a great potential and great future ahead of them realize that potential. And so we not only support the scholarship program, but we embrace the Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward scholarship.
This scholarship allows the recipients to concentrate on their academics solely and not have to worry about any financial obligations.
It's about finding a niche where you can pay it forward for those who have helped you in the past.
Certainly academics are important, grades and test scores and things like that are important, but we're trying to look at the applicant from some other vantage point.
A lot of them see their families and they see how they're making ends meet, and some of them see that that's all that's available for them.
The students are basically responsible for everything that needs to get done to be able to apply to college and be successful once they get there.
We listen to, what have they struggled with? What have they done to overcome? Because we know if they've done it at that level, they're going to do it at the college level.
For a student to apply for the Glenn Armentor Scholarship, the student must have a 2.5 cumulative grade point average, be a senior in high school, not need any remedial classes when they come to UL. They must be from the 8-parish Acadiana area.
The scholarship focuses on those who have potential, who have a proven record of success, who we know can make it, but are having difficulties in putting the financing together.
We would encourage every graduating high school student in any high school throughout Acadiana to apply for Mr. Armentor's Pay It Forward scholarship.
The Pay It Forward scholarship not only touches the student, it certainly touches the student's family.
It's more than just that individual. It really is impacting our community.
It's only going to truly pay it forward by having these students impact the lives of many, many others.
All the high school guidance counselors should have copies in their offices, or of course we have relationships with them and they can call us and we'll make sure that they get what they need to apply for the scholarship.
It's an extraordinary program that we're very proud of.
We're not asking for donations. We're asking for names.
When I was in the 7th grade, my parents got divorced. My mom started seeing someone as soon as she left my father. Kind of cast me aside. She never tried to make me go back. And so in a way, she just kind of let me go. And kind of just... At the time, I was 13. It was so hard for me to understand her motives, because life had been so normal before. I went from having 2 parents to no parents. You do think, well, what did I do? And I guess that's why I was so angry, because I had always had good grades. I wasn't ever in trouble, I thought I was, doing good, as a kid, and I guess I didn't understand. Now, I'm a lot better with the situation because I've learned to deal with it. And I've also been so involved in school and all my extracurricular activities that it's helped me cope with the whole situation. And it gives me something to focus on. And it's also leading me in the right direction. The way I heard about the Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward Scholarship of Excellence was from my counselor. And so she's like, you should, really consider applying for it. Who'd have guessed that a few weeks later, I got a phone call and this nice lady was like, oh, by the way, you have an interview. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That night, Mr. Armentor called me and he was like, oh, by the way, Chrislyn, you've won the Glenn Armentor Paid Forward Scholarship of Excellence. And I was just kind of speechless. I almost didn't believe it, And so the whole interviewing committee was there and they were all cheering in the background and I was like, oh my goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you. The Glenn Armentor Pay It Forward Scholarship will help me in so many ways. It's definitely gonna allow me to go to college. Just this blanket of comfort, I don't think I would change anything that's happened to me in my life because it shaped my character, first of all. and it's also made me the person who I am today. I would like to tell Mr. Glenn Armentor, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I could say thank you until I'm blue in the face. I mean, and that still might not be enough, you know, to express, I guess, how grateful I truly am.
When I was growing up, both my parents were on drugs, and I mean, I didn't really know that I was a little kid. My parents would fight a lot and stuff. My dad was always offshore, and one day I was like 8, and my sister was at her friend's house, and I was at my nanny's, and my mom was all nervous that day, and my dad came home, and they started fighting, and some gunshots were fired and stuff like that, and they separated, and the house was a wreck, and my dad got arrested that night. Me and my mom had always fought a lot. She was an alcoholic all growing up, and that was a lot of the reason her and my dad divorced and all the fighting, and she could just never stop. In October, my mom kicked me out of her house. And I came here, and I've been living here since. It probably upsets me the most that she can't see all of what she's hurt me and what she's still hurting everyone. I mean, I feel terrible for leaving my little sister in that house and knowing that my mom's still drinking around her and stuff. That's probably the worst part. I stay at my aunt's house, my dad's sister. I'm glad that I have somewhere to go, and she's been really nice, helping me get through everything. I like to run. Track's not really my favorite, but I'm definitely gonna miss cross country and soccer. I'm also in the math club. I'm math club president, as in a science club. In cross country, I'm cross country captain. I did that for 3 years. I started my sophomore year, and I was in track for all 4 years. I heard about the Glenn Armentor Paid Forward Scholarship of Excellence from my high school counselor, Miss Angela Launch. We're actually related, and she's helped me out tremendously, just helping me with the scholarships, and she was like, you should apply for this. So I came home and filled it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just got this. But she's always been there to help me, and she's a major support. When I got the phone call, I was about to go take a shower, and I didn't even recognize the number, so I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna answer this. So I answered, and he was like, this is Mr. Glenn Armentor, and I was like, oh, okay, something's about to happen. So he let me know, he was like, you've just won the Paid Forward Scholarship of Excellence, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? They were all cheering in the background, and I was like freaking out, and all I could say was, oh my gosh, thanks. Like, I can't even believe this. I started crying, and I was like, I'm so blessed. I can't even, without this scholarship, I don't know where I'd be without it. It's gonna help me out a lot. It's gonna put my mind at ease. If I had to tell Mr. Glenn anything, it would be thank you so much. It's amazing what you're doing, and it's not just like the financials. It's just like putting your faith in someone and telling them, I believe in you, and you can do it, and you're supporting them. It's an inspiration, and it's just amazing, and thank you again. I couldn't have done it without this. If I had to give any advice to anyone, I'd tell them that God has a plan for you, and you just have to keep working and keep pushing. Eventually, it'll get better. There's people that have it worse than me, and I've gotten through it. My name is Morgan Badgeron, and I won the Glenn Armentor Paid Forward Scholarship of Excellence.
We're not asking for donations. We're asking for names.
The Glenn Armentor Law Corporation has operated since 1977. There are 14 lawyers. It is a plaintiff's personal injury law firm. We are a Martindale-Hubbell rated AV preeminent firm that gives us the highest rating in the world. We've represented over 28,000 clients and their families. Our law firm handles a tremendous number of workers' compensation cases, on-the-job accidents. In short, almost everything that encompasses injury to our clients in a personal injury setting is what we're about. Our success level has been tremendous. What really drives the lawyers here is the fact that the community's embraced us. And our law firm has been blessed to be voted best law firm in Acadiana for years and years in a public vote. Our law firm, I and the lawyers in it, have certain fundamental beliefs that we've agreed to at the start of the firm. Things like returning every phone call the day that it comes in, or at the very worst, if the lawyer's in trial the next day. Putting them first, putting their cases first, putting their families first, and putting our community first. I believe that a law firm needs to be more than lawyerly action, more than handling cases, more than representing people. The lawyers in our firm all have a very strong community project. Mine is something called the Pay It Forward Scholarship. That is a very high-end, full-ride scholarship to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And it targets at-risk kids. That came from the fact that as a youth, I made a lot of mistakes, got into a lot of trouble. If it hadn't been for a few very good men who were mentors that got me to understand that I was doing the wrong thing and got me on the right track, I'd probably still be in trouble. And I think that's what the community sees. They see not only a law firm full of very good lawyers, they see a law firm full of very good people. I think a lawyer is a lot more than a businessman with a law degree. I think the profession requires certain things of us that we give back. It's a lot more than just earning a living. It's a lot more than building a firm. It's a lot more than making money. Once lawyers were respected in their communities, they were expected to take the lead, to do the right thing. They were looked up to, often revered. People saw them as heroes. That was a long time ago. Lawyers haven't commanded that kind of respect in decades, maybe with good reason. But those lawyers that still care deeply about people, about their community, about doing the right thing, they are still community activists, and the best of them are still heroes. I would tell young lawyers that you want to be a great lawyer, husband, wife, mother, father, brother or sister, and a community hero. That is what the profession is all about.